JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 16th of June 2020, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's afternoon live session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. Now then, a quick update on what's happening here globally in terms of the coronavirus. Now the figure continues to rise, but everything still kind of is at the same levels. US is kind of leading the way on both fronts, the total amount of infected and total amount of deaths. And the rest are kind of catching up, we can say like this, but unfortunately, of course. But the situation for now is not the best one. Now then, jumping into a few charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is the German DAX. A quick update here. I talked about this index this morning, and basically what I was saying, that initially we will be targeting this level right here, the 12,273 territory, which we've managed to comfortably reach today, and also we managed to overshoot it. However, of course the day is not finished yet, for now, guys, we'll be very careful and very cautious, and of course, looking at this picture, yes, it seems that it wants to continue pushing higher. However, let's see if we're not going to get the same scenario as we had last week, where we had a nice uprise in the first half of the week, and then everything kind of fell apart and everything started reversing back down. So that's why, yes, for now everything's looking quite positive. However, let's see if the index manages to stay above the 12,273 territory. If it does, then there could be still a chance for this one to push further north. We'll aim for that 12,671 territory, which we previously looked at as a good area of support. Now, like I said, it could play out as a nice area of resistance. Now, jumping into another interesting index, and that's Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now here, the situation is similar. We are seeing a further push north, where the index is currently, yes, it is also, the cash index is currently pushing higher, yeah, so for now, like I said, everything is kind of looking quite positive. So we will keep an eye on this one, of course. I'll see if it can push further north as well. For now, everything is the fact that it's still balancing above the short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 23rd of March. Of course, gives a bit of hope here for the buyers. So we will keep an eye on this one for now, but of course we'll still be very careful in case everything, like I said, turns around as it did last week. So we'll keep that in mind, of course. For those who are more on the cautious side, looking at this technical picture, you could just wait until this gets back above the 27,580 zone. I do understand it's quite a big of a territory to miss out, but if you're, like I said, more on the cautious side, then you could keep an eye on down. For those who are more on the risky side, looking at this picture here, I mean, you can see that this level here, the high of Friday, the high of the 11th of June, at 26,294 zone is already violated by the cash index. I mean, the cash index is pushing higher. The cash index is already kind of trading at around 26,650 territory, and that's marked by the well, actually just one moment, bear with me one moment here. That's near this level here, not far from the low of the 10th of June, near the 26,940 zone. So we'll keep an eye on this one. If it continues to push further north, as I said, this level could get tested, the 26,940, but if that gets broken, then yep, the next target for us is the 27,580 zone, marked by the high of the 8th of June. Now then, jumping into another instrument here in Brent oil. I talked about this in this one yesterday. Here, as you can see, this level here, the 36.96 area, acted as a fantastic area of support from which the commodity kind of managed to rebound and push higher. However, as I mentioned before, that still the more comfortable level after a break of which we could consider the upside would be the high of last week near the 43.40 zone, and a nice good pop above this would confirm a forthcoming higher high. And yep, the next target for us could be around the 45.20 or the 48.40 zone, marked by the low of the 2nd of March. So keep your eyes on down. In terms of the downside, still the same area remains for us, the after a break of which we could consider the downside, and that's the 36.96 zone. Yep, we would prefer to see a nice daily close below this before considering, let's say a move lower here. Bitcoin now, quick update here. So this week I talked about, in the beginning of this, well, on Monday, yesterday, in my morning video, I talked about this one as well. And as you can see, the crypto continues to balance above the 9,300 level, which is playing out as a nice area of support. For now, we will be very careful and probably stay on the neutral side, because even with the upside, although it's not declining, still with the upside, we would need to see a nice good break of this downside line and a push above the 10,045 mark, which is the highest point of May. So until then, we're not going to discuss any upside scenarios here. Like I said, we want to be on the safe side, and with the same with the downside here, we would prefer to see a nice daily close below this 9,300 zone and then aim for slightly lower levels. AUD USD, here the picture is quite interesting, at the same time quite tricky. So on one hand, we do have this scenario working out nicely, where previously I was talking about this correction lower, a test of this upside support line taken from the low of the 19th of March, and then a possible kind of rebound from it if this upside line holds. So everything's kind of for now working out nicely. However, today we're seeing that the pair is struggling with this level here, the 0.6934 territory, which is acting as a very nice area of resistance. Previously it acted as support, now it's resistance, and yep, for now we'll be very careful here, and we'll just probably continue observing this one, because what we would like to see here, a nice daily close above this area in order to aim for slightly higher levels like the 0.7032 or even above that. So we were at one point today above this area comfortably, but as you can see, the bears quickly pushed this pair down and continued to kind of keep the rate below the 0.6934 zone. That's, by the way, just to kind of remind you, that's the high of the 16th of January and also is the low of the 10th of June. So if we do eventually get a nice strong move above this area, then yes, further acceleration to the upside could be possible. In terms of the downside here, well, we need to see at least a break of this upside line before kind of considering further declines, and that's why, guys, for now we'll be, like I said, we'll be very careful with the downside. We need to see at least a confirmation break here below this upside line, and then we could aim for lower levels. USD JPY, now here it's a very interesting situation. So first of all, of course, let me just remind everybody that this morning I was mentioning that keep your eyes on the US retail sales that came that were supposed to come out today, and they already came out. So the figures were much better than the forecasts, of course, not to mention already the previous numbers. So if for example, the retail sales, the headline retail sales figure was forecasted to come out at 8%, now it came out at 17.7%, so which is a perfect kind of result here, I would say. So yep, we're seeing a small boost in the dollar here. However, the main boost is coming in the equity world, and yep, we are seeing the cash indices pushing the US cash indices pushing further north. Coming back to USD JPY, after the pair drifted lower and dropped below this 108.08 level, it drifted lower, but it failed to reach one of our targets here near the 105.94 zone, which, as you can see, acted as a fantastic area of support. However, not all is lost yet, because as you can see, the pair is kind of struggling to get back above all of its EMAs. So that's why for now we'll be very careful here. If this by any chance starts pulling back below the 107.32 territory, then yes, maybe this potential target here near the 105.94 could get back on the table. So for now, like I said, we'll be very careful here. Of course, for us to consider the upside again, we would like to see a push back above the 108.08 level, and in addition to that, a push above the 200-day EMA here maybe could attract more buyers. For now, we'll probably take a bit of a neutral stand here. Now, looking at USD CAD here, it's a slightly different story, because although we are seeing for the past kind of 3 trading days the pair declining a little bit here, still this might be seen as a possible kind of flag pattern. We do have a nice pole, which is the candle of the 11th of June, and this little correction lower could be seen as a part of a bullish flag pattern. So that's why, again, we cannot really talk about that yet until we see some sort of confirmation break here above, and in this case, for example, in this specific case, we will probably look at this little high here, the 1.3666, and a nice good pop above this. This is, by the way, the high of last week, and a nice good pop above this could, yep, open the door towards the further acceleration to the upside. However, until then, we can't really probably do anything here, to be honest, because even with the downside, we would like to see a drop, a nice good firm move below the 1.3488 zone in order to aim for lower areas. So that's in case here, in case of USD CAD. Now jumping into GBP CHF very quickly. Here the situation is a little bit difficult, and so as you can see, this barrier here, the 1.2205, kind of acted as a fantastic area of resistance, although we did have a few overshoots here last week. Still, or should I say, yeah, last week, yep, still it failed to close the daily candle above this area, and yep, as you can see, yep, it kind of was teasing and flirting with this level. Yep, it violated it a few times. However, it still closed the daily candle below it. So, and this was the result, where after which we saw the slide here to the downside. Now, first of all, probably let's also get rid of this downside line because it's no longer valid. Now, what we could try to do here is maybe try and draw an upside support line. However, for the bulls, most likely this is not gonna help, because if we draw it this way, then yep, we can see that the rate is kind of balancing below it, and today we had a nice beautiful test of this upside line from underneath, so which means that maybe this pair is actually willing to move lower. However, again, for now, we'll be very careful. In terms of the downside, we would prefer to wait for a drop below the 1.1725 zone and only then aim for lower levels, because this would confirm a forthcoming lower low. A break would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and yep, maybe more sellers could be joining in. Until then, kind of all this territory here could be seen as part of a range here, but again, that's why for now we'll be very careful, and that's why we have the upside scenario only after a break of the 1.2205 zone. And again, not only a break but also a nice daily close as well would be nice here, because as you can see, we had a few overshoots here, so we don't want to have a repetition of the same thing happening again. So and finally, Euro USD. This one is working out very interestingly, and everything's kind of for now according to the idea which I've mentioned this morning, that we could be seeing a nice maybe head and shoulders pattern here. However, it's too early to talk about that yet, because in order to consider that pattern, we would like to see a nice good drop below this level here, below the 1.1237, because that would be the area of a neckline here for this pattern. And if we do get a nice drop and the firm daily close below this area, then yes, further declines could be possible. However, until then, we cannot really do anything. Even with the upside, we cannot really discuss the upside until we get a nice daily move, a daily staying above the 1.1384 zone. And because as you can see here, on the 10th and the 11th of June, the pair kind of violated this barrier but failed to close above it. So that's why we would prefer to have a nice daily close above it in order to aim for higher levels. Until then, we will just remain neutral. That's basically it, guys. I mean, keep your eyes on some of these levels. I hope you found this video very useful. Yep, if you want to catch my video tomorrow morning, as always, my Traders Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time, we'll pick up on some of these instruments, some new ones, and yeah, we'll take it from there. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, for joining in, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.